Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to set up your eGPU with setup 1.35. It's a software made by Nando and it's going to help making your external graphics card run as a primary card. This is especially useful if you have an Intel HD like this one or any i-series processor that will have an Intel HD which controls the internal display. I'm not sure about AMD. This still could help, but I don't think you're going to need it for AMD. You could just boot it up and disable your main graphics card and then run that. But as you can see, my 540M is missing, and that's also due to setup 1.35. So if I would boot up normally, it would show three graphics adapters here: the Intel HD, the 540, and the 970. The thing is, if you have that, you can't really control in the NVIDIA control panel what video card to use. It will automatically determine what to use. Plus, you're going to miss out of many of these functions that are available if you just have the 970. So the selection here would be not there. So you couldn't force it to run on the high performance graphics adapter. Plus, choosing individual programs on what card to run is also disabled by that. So that's a function that's pretty useful to have. And I actually am gonna upgrade this in the future to only run on the 970s. But like I said before, at the moment I need the Intel HD to run the internal display. I have a fix for that, but that will be another video in another time. But for now, I'm going to show how to do this. And the thing is, Optimus is still working, so it's still deciding what is run on what, and I can manually say use that for that program, but Optimus is fully functional. So I'm going to show what you're going to need. The first thing you're going to need is DDU to wipe all of your old drivers, and you're going to need boot ice and setup 1.35, which I'm not going to distribute because it's a paid program from eBay sold by Nando. So I'm going to include the link to his eBay page for that, the current one. I might upgrade it if it gets ever another page. I'm not sure how that works, but I will see. But you're going to need to purchase Nando's program for like $15. And it's absolutely worth it because it's going to make your eGPU experience much better. Boot, ICE, and DDU are free. DDU, you're just going to need to install the drivers. So that's going to work like this. You're going to open it. And I suggest open it in safe mode. So you put it on safe mode and then reboot to safe mode. And then this program should show up as it will now. I'm just going to show it, but it would be in safe mode. So actually ignore the part in the video and pick clean and shut down. So you will be booted back into Windows. So after that you can download your drivers because safe mode won't have internet connection. Plus, if you do install the drivers from the safe mode, it's not going to install physics for some reasons. And it will auto detect mine. Oh, it doesn't actually. So you're going to need the 9 series for mine, not the M. It's a desktop. So 970, Windows 10, 64, and download those. These are the current ones. And you would download them, install them just like a regular card. And after that, you reboot from safe mode and your card should be working. The thing is, your old graphics card will also be working then. So now I'm going to show you how to disable that. So I'm going to open up my C drive because that's where it's going to be installed to. So here's my C drive. And I'm going to move that. And if you have purchased the program from Nando, you will get it by an email or something. And you just install it. And it will install into C eGPU. So as you can see, that's currently installing here. So I'm going to refresh that and there's eGPU. So what I do is I move boot ice in here just for convenience. And you gotta first run it one time. So let me see. First you're going to do setup disk image and run as administrator. And you're just going to press a key and then press the Y for yes. And that's going to mount a RAM disk, I think. I'm not sure. I think it's a RAM disk. Press another key. And now, if you boot up Windows, you will get the selection screen. So, do you want to boot into Windows or the program setup 1.35? If that works, just reboot to test this out. It's important that works. You don't want to change your boot orders before that works. So test that out. You don't need to change any values yet. Just see if you get the boot menu. Even boot inside setup 1.35. If it works, you get a menu. Just reboot, boot into Windows, and then we proceed to the next step. So what you're going to do is actually run boot ice, which is going to make it a permanent boot solution. You can revert from this, but this will make it so it will automatically boot into this. So you'd select your hard drive, which you're going to install it to, where your Windows is on. Then click Process MBR, install config. You leave these two things as they are. If it's not checked, check it. And everything after this, you're just going to delete. And from here, you're going to type egpu-grub.exe. You do the same here, egpu-grub.exe. This is the one you should have. Let me control that. I'm pretty sure that's the one. Yes, so that's correct. So this is what you're going to have in there. Write to disk, and that is actually all. So now setup 1.35 will be automatically boot. So now you have one thing to do. That's uninstall the disk image, because that's going to remove it from the boot selection screen. So you remove that, and now I'm going to reboot and show you how it looks now and how it's going to be set up. So I'm going to be right back when my laptop is powered off. So be right back. All right, so if I power on my laptop, you first get the BIOS like normal, but then there's going to be a new menu. This menu is going to be new. So this is what setup boot manager looks like. If you would chain load to your OS, it would boot into Windows, which probably won't work now for you because it's not set up right. Automatic startup is what's going to boot automatically into the program, execute the code, and then boot into Windows, which we're going to use later once it's set up. But for now, we're going to head over to menu based and start setting up setup 1.35 to work automatic. So this is how it should look like for you. I'm gonna check if mine is clear. I don't think so. It should be now. All right, so if you start out here, the first thing I would do is go to chain loader, and it's set on MBR. And if you would test run it, you would see it would keep going into a loop where it would boot into this till you go back to it wouldn't boot Windows. That's just it. It wouldn't boot Windows because it's booting into the wrong boot loader. So what you do is you get MBR2, and now it would boot into Windows. So I'm not going to do that. The second thing I always do is put the timeout on 0 and speed up. I'm not sure what speed up does, but speeding up is always good, so that's why I use that. In PCI compaction, you should ignore the dGPU. So ignore dGPU, and all you do now is enter. I will explain later, there's another way, but this is a little bit tricky. So I had this wrong. I always booted with 3.87, and I did another thing wrong. I will show that. But what I found to be better working is 56. So I recommend trying it out first. So 56.25, and ignore dGPU. And if you run the compaction now, it will ask you what you want to compact. And I always used to pick iGPU and eGPU. But I found that just compacting the eGPU actually works better. So compact that, and here you choose none. And here you have to, every time it shows that, you have to press enter. And at the third time, it's gonna head out here. And now there's something a lot of people I think miss. You have to go to video card and disable your graphics card, the internal one. So you're gonna go to dGPU and disable it. But here's the step that many people miss. It's not registered in the automatic start. So what you have to do now is press F3. So you have to press F3 on your keyboard, and that will add it. So as you can see, the screen just flashed, and that only happens with this one and another one. So you have to press F3. This is important. Your graphics card must be disabled. So once you have done that, if you want to run a Gen 2 and your laptop doesn't already do that, which I will show after this how you can check that, you can go to PCI ports, go to Gen 2 port, check the number here. Your eGPU is number 13C2, that's mine. Yours will probably be different, and this one here is the same. I would do this, do link retraining, press enter, and now again press F3. I'm not going to do that because I don't need it, but if you would press F3, the screen would flash, and then it would add the Gen 2 support into the boot menu, because it doesn't do that automatically like it does with the other settings. You have to press F3. So if you have done all that, the timeout is on 0. It should, on the first screen, it should boot automatically straight into automatic. So now if I reboot, I'm going to show it. I'm going to put my hands off the camera a little bit away. The laptop is booting up. It's going to boot straight up in here and then go into this at the settings, and then start Windows, all automatically. And that's because we put the timer on 0 and it automatically boots first into the setup and then from there into Windows. And this is something rare that can happen if you mess around with the menu. Sometimes you don't get the loading screen. This happens very rare, very rare. It's good that I got it in this video. So all you have to do is just press down, power down your computer and do this again. This only happens occasionally. I have not had it that often. So you power on your laptop again. Now you can see it again, fully booting automatically. And if you want to change something, you just have to press any key while it's in that gray menu, and then you can go to the menu-based settings again and change stuff around. Now Windows is loading. I'm going to put my second screen on there too. And as you can see, that's booting up too now. And there we have it. Both screens are on. And if you go to Device Manager, I'm going to do that real quick. If you go to Device Manager, you can see my 540M is gone and it's just showing the 970. And now these two are working together. So that's what you want to have. If you have issues, if the drivers crash, like if you get error 43, it can be multiple things. It can be that your BIOS locks the EXP. It could also be that your power supply is failing. That was my issue. I had a Dell DA2 and it was failing. So now I'm running a 400 watt power supply down there. It's a Cooler Master and that powers my graphics card. So yeah, that's working since then. And yeah, this is pretty much how you use setup. So the other settings like the PCI compaction, that's just trial and error. But this one should actually work for most people. So try that. If not, change around. You can also ask in the questions in the comment section. I'm quickly going to show how to check what generation PCI it's running on and how to uninstall this so it boots back to Windows again without using setup. So I'm going to be back on the computer. So I'm quickly going to show how to check what generation PCI port you're running on. So you're going to download eGPU's. It's a very easy program to download. And once you start it up, it should look like this. And this line is important. So it shows PCIe 16x2. That's my graphics card running at a 1x lane Gen 2. If this shows 1.1, don't fear. It might even still work. You have to press the question mark. Start the render test, and once it starts rendering, then it should hop to 2. Mine isn't always running at Gen 2. Sometimes it runs at 1.1, and then bumps up to 2 when it's needed. So don't fear if it's showing 1.1 at the first glance. Just wait it out. Mine is showing 2.2 now. I'm not sure why. Oh, there you go. It now went to 1.1. And if I would put on the render test, it would straight go back to 2. So that's how you check what gen your lane is running at. If it keeps running at 1.1, there might be two things going on. Your laptop only supports 1.1, or it's not set up correctly in the BIOS, and if you can't change it in the BIOS, you can do what I showed in setup 1.35 by forcing it to run at Gen 2. You have to remember to press F3 after that, but this is how it should look. And I just noticed that I don't have my physics drivers installed, so I'm going to reinstall my drivers with the physics drivers. I'm not sure what's that about. I think that happens if you install the NVIDIA drivers in safe mode. So you should actually just install the drivers in Windows back booted up. So if you use DDU, do remove the drivers and reboot, and then once you're back in Windows, you can install the drivers. You probably have to do that anyway because the safe mode doesn't have internet connection. So yeah, that is pretty... Yeah, that's what you should do. So do that and your physics drivers will be fine. Yeah, so now I'm going to show how to uninstall eGPU to setup 1.3.5. So what you do is, this is pretty easy. You don't need anything of this. You're just going to need boot eyes, and you're going to select your correct hard drive. That's very important. Process MBR, you put it back on Windows NT, install config, and you select Windows NT 6.x MBR. And once you have clicked that, it will be reverted to stock. No setup will show up while booting. No boot menu will show by booting if you have installed the disk image like I showed previously. And that should revert it all. So that's pretty much all. And for reinstalling it, you have to first mount the image and then run boot ice. So yeah, I think that covers it all. That's how you use setup 1.3.5. It's very easy to use and very useful, so I really recommend spending that $15 to Nando, because it's an amazing program that you're going to need if you're really serious about getting an eGPU. And it has fixed so many issues for my graphics card, and it runs so good now. Eventually I will upgrade it, but if you want to run this with your Intel HD for your internal display, you're gonna need it like this for now till I make the other video, which will be more hardware related, so it's not that easy, so I don't think many people will do that. So that was it. Thanks for watching. I hope that helped you out, and I have a guide on how to set up your eGPU in general, like hardware and software wise, but without setup 1.3.5, so you can watch that on my channel. And I think most questions that people ask I have been answered in other videos as well, so if you have questions, first take a look at my channel, because I have pretty much many videos explaining everything. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.